Welcome back, y'all. This is just, I am just so happy again to be here. I literally did not plan to do this morning, and I think this was going to really make this pod something different, this episode something different, because typically I'm very strategic when it comes to what I'm about to put out, the content that I'm creating, all the things, right? But I'm starting to realize the most sacred version of me, the most realest, rawest, transparent, authentic version of me comes when it's unprompted. When God just nudges me at 6 a.m. to get up and start writing. So that's kind of how this morning went, y'all. Like, I got up and I was just so emotional because, for one, today is my best friend's birthday. And today is also one of her best friends, another one of her best friends' wake. Tomorrow is her funeral. And she's also a friend of mine, but they were just, I don't even have the words on how close knitted they were. Like, they were family. Like, I witnessed their relationship for the last few years, and it was beautiful. Like, it was something that I wanted for myself in somebody. And not to say that I don't have friends. I have amazing friends, and I'm gonna talk about them on another pod because, baby, they deserve a whole nother episode solely based in, for them. But that's not what we're here to talk about today, y'all. Today, we are here just to talk about love and loss. Like I said, it started this morning, y'all. I was just so emotional writing this letter to my best friend, just about all the experiences and the ebbs and flows of our relationship, and how I never really trusted her pick of friends. Like, we've always had other friends outside of each other, but it wasn't until I went to college that I really didn't trust the people that she was hanging around. I really didn't like them for her. Like, to know Jamelia, to know who she really is at heart, is to know she is so pure. She is so funny. She is like the burst of laughter in the room, like, and fine too, y'all. I mean, beautiful. And so I was always very overprotective of her, whether she knew this or not. So when she would have these other friend groups, I just never felt super comfortable with their level of loyalty towards her. You know what I mean? And there's no shot to any of those people, but that's just how I felt. And so when she brought Lyric around, when, Lyric came into the play, I loved their relationship. I loved their dynamic. I loved how Lyric took her under her wing. I love how Lyric took care of her. I love how Lyric understood that Jamelia doesn't have a strong family dynamic. It's her brother, her mama, and it was Nanny. Like, after her grandma passed, it was nobody else that she could literally lean on. And even her mom and her brother, like, those aren't people that she can just, you know what I'm saying, lean on. Like, she's always had to stand 10 toes for her and her kids, period. And, she doesn't have a relationship with her dad. So all these things, as my best friend, plays in my head when I'm not with her, when we're not in the closest of proximity. So today, this morning, it being her birthday, but also her having to share this day with the death of her closest friend outside of me, it just really brought me to a place where I hadn't been in a while, to say the least. So this episode, was very unprompted, like I said, but like I always tell myself, the best things are the things you don't know that's coming. And I'm gonna rephrase that. Holy Spirit, hear me out. Like, the realest, rawest version of myself, the most authentic version of myself, typically arises when I don't plan it. Like, you know, as content creators, as, you know, podcasters, as YouTube creators, like, we are very strategic about, you know, when and where and how, positioning and everything. So, like, when I woke up this morning, I had no plans on doing this. I'm ready for work. I have a long day today. But here we are. So, we're just going to jump right on into it because I done already started, you know, rambling. Because I'm kind of all over the place, y'all. So, just bear with me as we try to get through this pod. I told y'all on the last pod I was very conservative. And I didn't mean it in, like, the way that I dressed or the modesty of, you know, my appearance. I meant that in a way of I was very filtered in how I felt and filtered in the things that I brought up, filtered in the conversations or the topics that I was willing to discuss, because it's vulnerable and it's very hard for me to be vulnerable. It's very hard for me to cry. It's very hard for me to, you know, just lay it all out. And the last time I had ever been in a space where I was completely vulnerable was in my past relationship. And with that not working, with that not panning out how we, you know, planned it to pan out, we're still friends to this day. But, you know, it took a lot out of me, you know, because I started to look at him like my God. And that's no shade to him. I mean, that's no, like, he didn't deserve for me to put him on the pedestal and fill shoes that he could never have filled. Like, at the end of the day, God has been prompting me to come to him for the things that I so seek in others. And so, yeah, it has been hard for me to become more vulnerable, but I understand the importance of being emotional or being transparent with people that truly do love you. So I'm doing better with this. So this episode, all in all, is going to be about love and loss. Pretty much talking about loving in the midst of loss, breakup, grief of a lost loved one, loving God in the midst of him changing who you thought you were going to be, losing parts of yourself so that God can grow newer, more sustainable parts, actually the actual optimal version of you, losing a game, painting a purpose. The day my life changed, which was my accident, the day, you know, everything became so surreal for me. And even kind of touching on, like, loving people past them loving you back. So all the things, we gonna really just jump right on into it. So the first thing I want to say is I love y'all. Like, I love y'all real bad. And when I say y'all, really, I'm really speaking to the people that support me, yes, but I'm really speaking to the space in which I'm in right now. Like, this space, the comfortability, the transparency, the unshameful feeling that I get when I'm in this space, like, is undescribable. And I don't know where it stems from. Like, I don't know how and why God picks certain spaces for me to just be 100% who I am, real. But between my blog, my lives that I be doing on Instagram, and now this, my podcast, like, I'm in love. You know what I mean? I'm in love that I get to be who I am freely. I'm in love that I don't have to sugarcoat, you know, or be this perfect Christian woman. Like, so yeah, thank y'all for not judging me. And if you are judging me, then that's on you. Okay, so first, I know we've all lost someone before in our lives. Like, I've lost a grandpa, which really, really was the first person in my life that I felt like took the breath out of me when I got the call that they were coming to their last days. And at the time, I was at school. Me and my cousin were at school. And our parents kind of set it up so that we could be in the same room when they kind of told us the news. And I just remember me breaking down to the ground on my knees. At this point, I'm still walking. I'm still, I'm still able-bodied, as they would say. And I remember riding home, driving home, me and Jazz, and it was just a very, surreal ride, y'all. Like, not to say that we were quiet, because in my mind, my papa isn't gone. Like, in my heart, I felt like, okay, he's not physically here with me no more. But in my mind, something just was like, it just wasn't ready to face the actual fact that he had transcended from earth to heaven. So we got home. She dropped me off at my house, and I just remember coming in. My mom and my brother was at the house at the time, and I just remember coming in, and they coming to tell me, Papa not here no more. And I went upstairs to the media room. I laid down and I cried. Again, me not being totally comfortable to do that in front of my mom and brother. People who I know love me, who would give their life for me, who would give me the shirt off their back and have done before. I don't know what that is about me. I just don't get why I can't cry in front of people that love me. But that was the first experience that I felt a person that I truly love, that I truly had a relationship with, that I truly never imagined not being here for my biggest days, my graduation, my wedding. That was the first day I lost somebody that close to me. And even then, I found solitude in knowing my papa lived a very good life. He was 75, I believe, when he died. And so he had a very fulfilling life. He had a very fulfilling family. He left us a lot of nuggets. The only thing that I regretted, or that I look back on all the time, is I didn't take as much advantage of the relationship as I could have. I didn't understand how wise he was, how important his words of wisdom that he would share every time that we would see him, how valuable they were, and to hold on close to him and to be more open with him about things that I was dealing with. So that was my first loss. And that's something that I still, struggle with dealing with today. But like I said, I found solitude in knowing he lived a good life. I got him tatted on me right here because he died for 11/17. And then below it, I said, life isn't about finding yourself, but it's about discovering who God created you to be. At the time, I didn't really understand, in totality what that meant. But I just knew that it resonated with my soul, with my spirit. So, I tatted it on me, and that was that. But the second loss was Wyndham Blair, one of my closest, bestest friends in the world. Somebody I looked up to, somebody I went to, told all my secrets to, somebody that I laughed with, somebody that I've slept with. Not physically, but, just in the same proximity. Me, him, and Bree, which is our other friend, which is my other friend, my sis, literally would sleep together in one bed countless of times. Like, we were so close. We were so authentic with each other. Like, Wyndham was literally our person. You know how you have a person that is strictly platonic, but you can go to him for anything. Like, nothing's off limits. He was so smart. He was a brilliant mind. He was only 25. And when did it pass? It's been 2 years now. 27. Yeah. So, that was my second loss. And I took that one hard, and I still cry and choke up about that one today because of the fact that Wendy, I just felt like he never got to see me at the space that we would so talk about all the time. Like, we always used to talk about, he used to get on our butt, on our tail, because we would tell him stories, and he would just be like, I'm trying to tell y'all need to be with, you know what I'm saying? Just that guy friend that just always had great advice, just always was there, just always was helpful. Like Wyndon would, like, I just don't have words for who Wyndon was to me. Like the type of friend Wyndon was, he was like that for everybody, not just me. It's so many people that were in love with Wyndon, so many people that loved his spirit, so many people that he touched before he left this earth, that again, I feel like I didn't take full advantage, or I didn't really understand how important real friendships were. Like, I didn't understand that that's not something to take lightly, or that's not something to, take for granted. And so again, here we are. And not to say that I lost Lyric, but when somebody is so close to you, loses a part of them, a part of you goes with it. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, y'all. And even through all the loss, I've still managed to find a love at the end of the tunnel, to find a way to change the loss into a positive, in a way that keeps me tenacious towards the life that God has given and granted for me to have. I lost a relationship that I put every ounce of me in. Even after we had broken up, I still was so invested in this person. I was still so invested in loving this person past their pain, past their trauma, past their, discrepancies, that I started to lose myself. I lost a friendship that I never would have imagined ended the way that it ended. And I still ask God today, like, how, when you give your all, and maybe people don't see what you see. Maybe they don't feel how you feel. Maybe the way that you were to them wasn't as valued. So maybe they don't see it the way you see it. But I never imagined one of my best friend, especially in college. I met this girl in college, bro. And when I tell you, we could not be separated. Like, I never imagined us not talking since 2019. I never imagined that, y'all. Like, it's like a death when you love somebody, when you love people, and you can't reach out to them. You can't tell them how you feel. You can't express your undying, affection towards them because of a situation that's so minuscule. And I think in the midst of loss and grief and everything in between, it just makes me feel like, man, why we can't get right, But that's another story for another day, y'all. So the whole point of this pod is just is not really so much is not really so much of the loss, but what we gain in the loss, or what God is trying to gain us in the loss. I lost my legs. I lost the function of my legs on a day that was beautiful, on a day that me and my best friend was supposed to be going on a double date. Like, I was living my best life, and God brought it all to a halt. And so with all of that and everything in between, I lost my innocence. I was raped at 15 years old with the help of a friend. Somebody that was supposed to be my dog. Somebody that I kicked it with daily. Somebody that I walked home with. Like, helped a guy rape me. Like, stuff like that, it sits with you. I never told nobody this. I never cried to nobody about that. The person that I told was another dude that I don't even know what he doing in life, right now. Like, I'm just saying all this to say, like, the issue we go through, it's real, y'all. And if we don't deal with it, if we don't pull close to the people that actually love us, if we don't established our relationship with God and root it, how can we make it through? How can we be who God has called us to be? How can we even be recognizable to ourselves after going through so many different traumas and tragedies that we haven't healed from? I'm in a place of healing right now, and I'm happily healing. I'm not moping around. I'm not depressed. I'm on my way to work. God has granted me one of the best seasons of my life. Literally, y'all, like my kids. Oh my God, when I tell y'all my kids, I'm not finna do this right now because I am not finna cry. But y'all, when I tell y'all the kids that I teach, they have shown me who I am and who I want to be in so many ways. They have literally stripped every part of who I thought I was and shown me the person that God has created me to be. I never would have thought that. I never wanted to work with kids. I never wanted to work with kids. After my accident, it just was convenient because of the fact that I could go to school and do this job on the side, without being so stretched and stressed. So it was a placeholder. It was just something to do. But when God puts you in a situation and it starts to better aspects of you that you never even felt like you needed to better, you start to take it a little slower. You start to try to listen a little closer. You try to be quiet and allow him to really tell you, what am I doing here? What is the purpose for me being in this place, in this space at this time? What are you calling for me to get out of this? What are you calling for me to strip of myself so that I can be more bolder in who you've called me to be? So I can be more recognizable of who you called me to be. I didn't even know who I was. I don't even want to call it an identity crisis because it wasn't a crisis. It was just regular life. Like, as long as I can financially take care of myself, as long as I can physically get around this world, as long as I have, good enough friends, to love and celebrate life with, and family to do the same, like, I didn't feel the need to go deeper. I didn't feel the need to go behind the crevices of that 5-year-old that was doing things that just wasn't understandable, that just didn't fit. Like, I was 5 years old doing things that were just questionable. And I'm not going to even get into that right now. But it just goes to show that even in your mother's womb, y'all, like, your life has already been manifested. Like, people talk so much about manifest. I want the universe. Bro, ain't no such thing as manifest. Like, you can't manifest your life. You can't create a life that has already been given to you. You have to step into it. So, I don't even know, y'all. I don't know where we're going. I don't know what I've said. But I'm just in my rawest version right now because I'm just thinking like, man, I have lost a lot. But I have gained even more than I've lost. I have loved even more than I've lost. Like, and it's amazing to me how God works in the midst of trauma, in the midst of tragedy, in experiences that you feel like you could never come back from. How if you just take a moment to just think, to just see, to just be, to just allow him to be who he was created. No, not created to be, who he is. That everything that you've lost, he's giving back in the same breath. It's so funny because when I had my accident that day, it was a beautiful day. It was summertime. I was driving down 1382, if anybody knows that street in Dallas. And I was just living life. I wasn't thinking. I wasn't being slow to speak and quick to listen. I wasn't taking my time to try to really understand why different things was happening in my life. I was just taking it day at a time. Like, making excuses for the things that I was doing, or holding off on the person that I knew my soul was craving to become, which was who I was. But in the midst of all the things that I've been through, she had been erased in so many ways. She was trying to protect herself from trauma. And I think that's a lot of the reason why I don't cry, is because I couldn't. In a lot of situations, I couldn't show weakness. I was literally bullied when I was in elementary school. And so many people find it so crazy to believe, because everybody looks at me as this strong individual, as this very, big dog individual. Like, just Jessica is just, you know what I'm saying? But in my heart, in my soul, I'm a teddy bear. I'm a baby. Like, I'm not as hard as my exterior presents itself to be. I've had to be. I didn't know who to go to. Like, even though I had a great mom, I had a great dad, it just, you know how your heart just feel at home? Like, you ain't gotta, like, with these people or with this person or in this group or in this setting, I don't have to fake it for nobody. I don't have to put on the show. I don't have to put on the act. I don't have to be something I'm not. I don't have to sugarcoat it. I don't have to feel shame. I never had that. And I don't know, maybe my parents didn't have that. Or maybe they tried to give it to me and I was just so that I didn't know how to. I didn't know how to go to them and say, today was one of the hardest days I had to have dealt with in my life. Will you help me? So you know what I did? I became that person for everybody else. I became the person that held everybody else's secrets. I became the person that never judged, nobody else's story. I became the person that outloved people, to show them that even through your circumstances, God still has somebody here that's intentional about loving you past anything that you dealt with. But I forgot me. I was so running from myself that I said, I'm gonna try to fix everybody else around me. I'm gonna try to love them so hard. I'm gonna try to love them in a way that I need, in hopes that God brings that to me one day. And all along, God was always there telling me, come home. I'm right here. Just because you feel like you have to have a physical body to hug or to hold on to cry to, you could do all that to me. I could give you that same fulfillment. But I just didn't understand how. I wanted it on earth. I wanted to be able to look somebody in their eye. You know what I mean? And all in all, God just kept bringing me back. He kept nudging me back every time that I would go so deep with somebody else and it not be appreciated. Or maybe it do be appreciated and it just not be reciprocated. And not because they didn't want to, or not because they didn't love me. They didn't know how to love me to that capacity. I was loving them with a purpose. I was loving them because I didn't know how to love myself. So it's no knock to people not being able to reciprocate their love, because it stemmed from a place that wasn't healthy. Though it may have been very beneficial for the person that I am and who I am becoming, it wasn't in totality beneficial. Because at the end of the day, it don't matter how much as a human we say, I love you just because I love you. You don't have to love me back. Yeah, but you kind of want to be around people that love you back. You know what I mean? That know how to love you the way that you want to be loved. Not the way that they know how to love. Because everybody's definition is different. Everybody grew up in different households. Everybody's seen it in different ways. So their love may be just as much as how you love. But because they show it in a way that's different from something that you can recognize, it may not hit home for you. But I am who I am, and that's a part of me that I would never want to change. I love the fact that people come to me with everything. I love the fact that they feel like they can lay it out on me. I love the fact that people are comfortable enough to tell me things that they don't even share with they own people. they own family, they own mama. Like, I love that. But I have to understand that if you're going to love like that, you have to be loved like that. And the only person that could love you in totality the way that you want to be loved is God. And so I had to find some type of comfort in knowing that I may not have nobody right now on this earth that I could just lay it all on the table with. And maybe I do, and maybe that's just something that I have to get more comfortable with, you know. But before, you know, getting comfortable with that, I have to know that my Father is there to replenish all my needs, and not just replenish them, but to give them first, to be the standard, to set the standard. So I don't want to go, you know, too deep into every tidbit story that I may have mentioned today, but those are just some experiences that I've, you know, had to take to the chin, and I'm not mad about it. I'm actually happy. Like I said, I really feel like I'm one of God's favorites. And it's funny that I would say that in the midst of loss, not being able to physically walk at this very moment. It's funny that I'm able to say that I'm glad that he did it. I'm glad that he saw fit for me to still be here, even if it had to be in another capacity. I feel like I was praying for this moment. I was praying for these days. I was praying for me to be able to really just be me, unapologetically. Not perfect, you know, not the Christian that you dress up and perform every Sunday. Not like, I just wanted to be that person that God has always created me to be. So I don't know, y'all. I don't know. It's just, today was just one of them days. But all in all, I'm glad that God brought me through all those things, so that when I have a story to tell, and that people can see that it ain't been perfect, and it doesn't have to be, for you to live the life in abundance that God has called for you to live. Your story, your experiences, they are just as vital to your becoming than the happiest moments that you've had to endure as well, or that you've experienced as well. They're just as vital. Like, it is no way that I could have resonated to this form of thinking without going through some of those things, without having had to go through those lessons. Like, and I wouldn't change a thing about me. Like, I'm a damn good person. Like, I love hard. Like, my energy is unmatched. And I keep saying, like, that's so funny, but my spirit is pure. My flesh may not always show up as that, but I know who I am. And nobody's version of who they think I am is going to overpower who I know I am. And so whether you see it, whether you feel it or not, I pray that you focus more on you and your development than mine. You know? And that's for any and everybody. So I say all that to say, y'all, I love y'all. I really got to get to work. I'm late. My boss just texted me. I'm really supposed to be in a meeting right now. That's crazy. But I just felt the need to be here with y'all. I couldn't even tell you what all I said today, but hopefully in some magnitude it touched somebody in a way that gets their wheels turning. God loves you more than anything and anybody And if you just allow him to love you the way that he wants to, every void that you feel like you've had or have will be filled instantaneously. Now, it's a process, you know, and it's an undoing of things that you have to get comfortable with. It's a journey, and it's everlasting. That's one thing about it. The journey is everlasting. It's no expiration date. We are forever becoming. We won't ever arrive. You know what I'm saying? Until we make it to them pearly gates. So, rest in peace, Lyric, Win-Win, Pawpaw, and everybody else that you may have lost in the old you. Because this is a new season, and God is birthing new things. So don't allow the contractions to deter you from the ultimate plan, the ultimate goal. You're here today, but tomorrow is a whole new day. You could be in a whole new place tomorrow. But you gotta get focused. You gotta stop putting your energy into things and people that don't matter. People can be amazing. They can be good people, but are they good for you and where you're going in your purpose? Are y'all partnered? Are y'all purpose partners? And that goes for any relationship, friendship, family, you know, platonic. Like, are they purposeful for where you are going? Are they helping guide you? Are they helping mold you? Are they helping add layers to you that are needed for the woman or man that you're becoming? If not, get rid of them. It's called dead weight. Love them from afar. It's a lot of people I love from afar. I ain't seen them in years. And that's okay. I hope they're doing abundantly well. But this year, it's about me and God and getting closer to him so I can get closer to me, because he is the one that knows all. We just here for a moment, y'all. We don't know how long we got. Don't take it for granted. May peace and blessings be upon you. Till next time. Bye.